Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. It has been a while. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, all that type of stuff. And today we are drinking some stuff that I've been craving for a while. And the reason I've been craving it is, well, I would not say I've had a very good start to the new year. So, no complaints. No complaints. And I'll, I got the flu basically is what happened. And I'm a big baby. And so nothing to do with mountain teas or anything like that. I just got the flu, and so I've been basically laid flat until today when I went out and went for a walk, and it was kind of nice. And because of that, I have not been doing very much. I have not been obviously doing live streams. All the tea's been getting out and all of that because I've had some help. But I have been sick, and I am a big baby, an absolutely massive baby. I haven't been this sick in like 20 years, and I wasn't even really all that sick compared to other people and compared to other experiences. It really wasn't that bad. Oh, the smell of this wafting up is what I've been craving. Now, I shouldn't really be having this tea on a day like today. You can see behind me, it is one of those amazing, beautiful, rare days on the east coast of Taiwan where it's technically wintertime, of course, right? It's wintertime, but it's like 20, I want to say like 22, 23 degrees, sunny, slight breeze. It is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I should be having this when it's cloudy and rainy, when it's drizzly, when it's cold. I think next week it's supposed to get down to like 9 degrees. Like, ooh, it was like that cold, I think, the other day. And so that's when I should be drinking this, but I've been craving this for so long. Now, this tea, the reason I've been craving it, this tea actually went out with this month's subscription box. So if you got this month's subscription box, you've got a little bit of this beautiful tea on the way to you. And perhaps in some areas, it may have already arrived. And basically what I call this is Susan Pian's charcoal dong ding. And why I call it the charcoal dong ding is because basically it's really heavily roasted. It's really heavily roasted. It's charcoal roasted, and it's roasted really strong. So it's roasted super strong. And the reason it's roasted super strong is because of the man who makes it. And the man who makes it is a guy named Su San Pian, and he's actually the nephew of the old master for the old master Dongding. And he is a guy that I've known for a couple of years now, and I haven't really bought too much of his tea. The reason I haven't bought too much of his tea is because it's wildly expensive, and it's like the best of the best, and it's very intimidating. It's a very intimidating tea because it is the best of the best. It's a tea that you would get. It's a tea that you have to be really careful with sharing or his teas. He makes a bunch of different teas. You have to be really careful with sharing his teas because they're expensive and because you're looking at I've talked about it 1,000 times, at the Pareto distribution, right? The 80-20 rule, the 80-20 rule, the 80-20 rule is the oversimplification of it. And this is like, his teas are like the 80-20 rule of the 80-20 rule. Like, we're looking at the top 1.1%, the top 0.1% of the teas in Taiwan. And what that means is you can give these teas to somebody who has never had Taiwanese teas before, and they'll be like, oh, that's nice. And then if you give it to somebody who has had, Taiwanese teas and they're deep into it, they will just go, what's this? Like, and they'll just sit back and go, whoa, what is this type of thing? So that's intimidating because I don't really want to have to be describing what makes an exceptional tea exceptional to people who are spending a lot of money for the tea. Now, this tea, there's the Discord server. Like I said, I was sick. I've just come out of it now. And again, sick, like it was the flu. It's not that bad. I'm just a big baby. The last time I was sick for more than 2 or 3 days was, again, about 20 years ago. Right. So about 20 years ago was the longest I've been sick for more than a day or two. And so I've been sick for the past 2 weeks. And so I'm just a big baby. It's great, though, because in the sense that what I was going to do in the start of the year was obviously going to sort of reset my diet and my lifestyle. And I reset it. I lost a bunch of weight. And so I'm going to try and keep that. Hey, all right. So I just got an email from someone in Canada. It just popped up on my feed there. Someone in Canada just received their tea. So I'm very, very happy. They ordered a long time ago, and I sent it out on December the 23rd. So Canadians, get ready. Your teas are going to be there soon. And as you can tell, I'm still sort of a little bit sick. And so I don't know how long I'll last for this, but I'm better. Basically, I'm better. And before I got sick, I packed up all the subscription boxes, sent out all the subscription boxes, and I was waiting for like a really cold day to whip out this particular tea, because I wanted to sit down and I wanted to just enjoy it in the cold weather. And this is the first time where I can actually sort of like sit down and enjoy and taste these types of things right now. But this tea is, I don't crave teas very often, right? So I have access to so many different teas. I don't crave the teas. I don't sit down and be like, I really want this. I really want this. It's very, very rare for that to happen, but I do for this when it's cold. And the reason is because it's so expertly roasted, so expertly created, that on a cold day or any day, like sometimes my body needs it. Sometimes my body's just like, give this to me now. Give it to me. Come on. And like I said, because I've been off for the past 2 weeks, I haven't been able to drink it. Now, what makes this tea so special? Right? So we're talking about Pareto distribution of teas. We're talking about teas at the top of the Taiwanese tea pinnacle. First off, this guy has been doing teas. I think he's or the fourth or the fifth generation. I think he's the fifth generation or more. I think, anyways, fifth generation of the Su family who makes these teas. A lot of the Su family, because there's a lot of them, some of them have gone off the evil road, right? So some of them have gone off and done, there's a bunch of them that have imported tea from Vietnam and brought in a bunch of teas from other countries, and then they roast them and they say they're Dongding teas, but they're not. A bunch of them, especially the older generation, wow, look at the color on that. That's beautiful. Have just sort of kept to their roots and done a really good job and just stayed the same, right? They just stayed the same and said, okay, we're just going to sort of do this sort of the traditional way in some respects, right? They use electric roasting, not charcoal roasting. That's the old master Dongding. And a few of the, I've really got to, sorry, the fireworks went off on the YouTube. I apologize for that. I really got to turn that off. And a few went so far off in the other direction to go fully organic and just take the art of tea to a level that is just taking all of that time period, doing homage to the history of it, and then going organic and just went and so far off that way. That it is, extremely rare, extremely good, and that's what this is right here. Can you get any more of the pots? Theoretically, yes. And during the wintertime, I should have more time to be able to maybe get some more of the pots. I'm hoping that I do have some more time to go get some more of the pots for sure, because people ask me for them. The problem is, of course, is that it's just it's a tough one. I've never lost one in the mail yet, but I'm always like every time I give the box a little hug, I go good luck, good luck. But I haven't lost one yet. But it's always a worry. Anyways, yes, I'll try and get on that this winter time. I should for sure. People ask for it all the time. I've said it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. The best teas in the world are hand-picked, organic, wild-grown, taken care of by one tea master from the start to the finish. But that doesn't mean that it's actually good. Right? So you can get a hand-picked, multi-generational, organic, wild-grown, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't mean it's good. Never means that it's good. It never means that it's good. You have to have all those things coming together to create the real specialty. And that's okay. So that is ripe rice or vegetables, and that's just a fireworks. So don't the symphony, the Mountain Stream Tea Symphony is on full. The recorder was out earlier, so maybe you guys will get that. You get lucky with the recorder later. Wow. Okay. So the story behind this is right from the Dongding Mountain, like the real Dongding Mountain, right on Dongding. It's right there. It's the Dongding Mountain. And my buddy has carved off a piece of the mountain and he's let it grow wild. And he planted a bunch of tea trees there like 20, 30 years ago, and he's just let them grow wild. And he goes out there with a very few amount of people and he picks them every season. And every year there's less and less and less and less and less tea. And then he takes the tea, he does everything himself. He rolls it by hand. I think it goes through a machine really lightly, like the bag is really lightly, and then he does the end, he does it by himself. And he charcoal roasts it all by himself. And what he has done and what he's created in this tea is sort of his homage to the classic Dongding style oolong. And the first steep, you get a little hint of what's coming. The second steep, this one here, is strong charcoal. But soft charcoal, but like charcoal, like you're licking clean charcoal. But marshmallows, like there's a sweetness to it, marshmallowness to it, when you take a marshmallow, you put it in the fire goes shh, and then you peel it off and eat it. That's exactly the flavor characteristic that you're getting from this right now. And it is so warming, right? It's cold, but I can already feel myself starting to sweat a bit. And it's just that warming, beautiful feeling that's coming out of here. Again, the subscription folks, you're going to get to try this tea. Haven't had a single complaint to any of your teas, so I think like ignorance could be bliss. Well, it's I just got charcoal. What is this arrived yet? Has this one arrived yet for you? Yeah, that's pretty fast. Maybe not. When did I send it out? I sent it out maybe the second or the third. Anyways, are you drinking this tea? And so if you do get this in the subscription box, it's a really expensive tea. I could only send out like 5 grams in the subscription box because there was 5 different teas. A sample package. And if if you get, I can only send out like 5 grams of this tea, unfortunately, just because it's expensive and actually I don't have very much of it. But the Discord, I'm going to be releasing this to the Discord and to a section of the site. Now, I went on a little bit of a rant earlier in the live stream in the context of teas like this. How do you deal with teas like this? How do you deal with teas that are in that top 1.1% of Taiwanese teas in general? Because if I give this tea just to your average tea drinker. The second steep is probably going to be strong for them, and they really won't know where to place it. They won't know where to place it in their frame of reference. They won't know where to place it in their in their scaffolding, in their internal scaffolding of what a good tea is, what a good tea means, and all these different things. They just won't know where to place it. And if somebody has been, drinking Taiwanese teas for a while, you are going to know where to place this tea. You will know exactly where to place this tea. I mean, just the smell of the cup is it's so gorgeous. It's caramel, like just beautiful, warm caramel. And you'll just know exactly where to place it in the context of it being a really high quality tea. And so that's why I'll stop talking about it. The point is that this tea is not for everybody. It is for everybody. Like if you want it, like you can get it for sure. But if you've never had a roasted tea before, if you've never had a roasted Taiwanese tea, this is not the tea to start with, right? If you start with this tea, everything else will be downhill from here. I mean, sometimes I get these emails every once in a while, and I always feel bad because there's no way for me to help. But somebody will have gotten into tea the first time. They'll have tried a high mountain oolong, or they'll have tried some tea that gave them these flavor notes, and they only had it once, and then for the rest of their life they're chasing this high. And it's always so funny for me in the context of like I got an email and somebody was like, I got a buddy who had this oolong where there was pineapples and this and that, and they listed off all of these different tasting notes, and I was like, I don't know if that tea exists. Like I try some of the high mountain oolongs, try some of the teas that are on the site. I could give you a list of teas, but I don't know whether that one exactly exists. And I think when that person had that tea, their experience was so good, they're going to be chasing that for the rest of their life. I don't think they're ever going to find it. And I've had it in person many times where, especially when I was doing live tea tastings, somebody would come down and they'd say, I want this tea. And they describe the tea. And I'd be like, are you sure that tea exists? Are you sure? Okay, well, I can give you a lot of teas that are around that tea, but I don't know whether that exact tea exists outside of your memory. And so that is definitely something that will it happens a lot. It happens a lot. And what are you supposed to do, right? I mean, it's that person had that experience, and that experience is theirs. They'll always be chasing it. Thankfully, I don't have to worry about that, because when I've had those experiences with teas, I know where to go and get them again. And so I've had those experiences with teas, but I know exactly where they're from, who made them, when they were made, all those different types of things. And so I can go and I can literally go back and recreate that that exact it. Hope you feel great like the sunshine. Well, it is the first time I have felt decent in many weeks. Well, 2 weeks. Again, I'm a big baby. I'm just a big baby. Like I just don't get sick. Yeah, I just don't get sick. But yes, thank you very much. And I feel I wouldn't say I feel great, but I feel normal almost for the first time in weeks. I love the Old Master Dong Dang. It's just the best. Oh, wait till you try, ma'am. I think you're I just was called Abe, which means like old uncle, I guess, but I haven't been called ma'am for a while. What was I gonna say? The wintertime Old Master. I haven't released it yet. It's in this month's subscription box as well. Even better than the spring. And I don't know how that's possible. I honestly don't know how that's possible, but I think there was. I think. I think it's better than the spring. I think it's better than the spring. Um, don't feel bad. I had 102 for a couple days there. Well, I remember you were saying you got sick as well, and I hope you're doing well. I hope you handled it better, more manly, not like the sniveling weakling like me. He's just like, oh, I'm sick. Eh. I'll tell you. I even had like ate Western medicine for the first time in again like 20 years. It was that bad. It was that bad, right? And should I tell that story? I'll tell that story in person, but I probably shouldn't tell that story on the interwebs. But let's just say that in Asia, you can get whatever you want if you know what you want at the local drugstores. And I'm not a big fan of doctors, and I know what I want, and so I could get what I wanted. Much better. Lived in the shower and sleeping bag, and yes, I bet. I just surrounded myself. I did this. I surrounded myself with down, right? So just down feathers all around me for like a week, and that worked out. That worked out fine. But right now I like I said, I lost a bunch of weight. I got sick. I lost a bunch of weight, and even though it doesn't really look like it, I did because I was turning into a like North American overweight. Not like I'm still Asian overweight, but I was like North American overweight, and and now I'm like just cleaned out my lifestyle. You know, the only thing I haven't added back in is exercise. Although I did go for a long walk today, but I'm looking forward to adding in the exercise. But I haven't had sugar for 2 weeks. I haven't had anything sweet other than perhaps some fruit and just eating at home. Anyways, whatever. I'm jumping into this. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Same here. Garlic, lemon, cinnamon, clove, scallion, honey tea. I just did what I do when I get sick like that is I find fresh old ginger. So I go and I find organic, fresh old ginger. So old means it's like 3 years old or 2 years old. And then I chop it up and then I boil it and I just boil the heck out of it. Just boil it for a couple hours. And then just drink it. It's like a paint thinner and it works quite well. It works quite well. But that sounds a lot more involved and a lot more fun and probably a lot more effective as well. But anyways. Discord. I'm going to be jumping back in on the Discord. I haven't done anything in the Discord for 2 weeks. Like I said, all I've done the last couple weeks is lay down and feel sorry for myself. But there are 2 versions of this tea, kind of. Anyways, one is heavy electric roast, and one is heavy charcoal roast, and they're both done by the same guy. Slightly different gardens, but such a different feel, such a different way of looking at the teas and experiencing the teas with the electric roast and the charcoal roast. But I got both of them, and I'll be releasing them I'll be releasing them hopefully in the next week or 2 once I get everything back to normal. And as always, thank you everybody so much for keeping us busy. There was certainly no drop off in sales while I was sick. I gave the vanilla beans in science vials with sugar as gifts, flavored maple syrup as well. Awesome. That's wonderful. And I hope people enjoy them. Again, I'm still waiting on somebody. There's been some people that have described some of the amazing things they've done with the vanilla. But I'm still waiting for somebody who's like a vanilla expert to be like, this vanilla is the best. This vanilla is not the best. I still have no idea. And what I'm actually really looking forward to right now is I'm going to go, next time I do a big trip, I'm going to go look up vanilla farms. I'm going to go visit these vanilla farms, and I can't wait to walk around and just sort of see how it is, and maybe get a vanilla, maybe get a vanilla or two, and bring them home and stick them up on my wall here, because I got this sort of this overhanging thing, so I could grow orchids here, and so I think I'm going to try and grow some vanilla and see what happens, just for fun. Growing vanilla for fun, I think would be awesome. I think that would be a lot of fun, just to see what would happen with it. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't really have too many updates. Like I said, I've been feeling sorry for myself and lightly coughing and going for the last 2 weeks, because I'm a weakling when it comes to sickness, and when I get sick, because it doesn't happen very often. But the next big thing that's coming, I'm going to go and get the small leaf chrysanthemum flowers. So they're already starting to send me teasers of these beautiful. I'll probably post it on the feed, but the chrysanthemum flowers, they put them in the tea roasters, and they are so beautiful. It's so aesthetic. It's just because the chrysanthemum flowers, they're like, like about this big. They sort of look like they're just golden, and then they cut them like this, and then they get huge amounts of it, and then they dry them in the tea dryers, and it's just so aesthetic. It's so beautiful. The yellow, the pop, the color, also the smell, everything about it is just so wonderful. And so that's happening right now. So I'm hoping in the next, certainly by the end of the month, I'll be able to get that stuff. It's a little bit slow this year, but by the end of the month, I'll definitely be getting. Today they'll just be picking for sure. Sorry, I missed the 2 charcoal electric. Chrysanthemum is the best. Yeah, these are the Su San Pian. So that's my buddy in Dongding, and anyways, I did a big spiel on it before, but he he's part of the Sioux family that's been doing it for a lot of ways. Some of the Sioux family has gone evil, and some of the Sioux family has gone normal, and some of the Sioux family has gone like super organic, wild left, beautiful, and he's gone this way. And he's gone so far this way that it's like it just insanely so far this way, just insane. And so he creates these teas that are pre-distribution top 1% of the 1% teas on the island, and so those are the teas that I'm going to be putting out there in the Discord server in the next little while. Those teas, and this is one of them, and it's by far the best charcoal roasted tea I've ever had, by far. Now, I've had every once in a while people ask me about it, but I used to have a charcoal roasted tea, heavy charcoal roasted Dongding Oolong that was charcoal roasted, like really, really, really heavily charcoal roasted, and it was done by another part of the family, right? Another part of the family, and he didn't really use, or he doesn't use the highest quality stuff. And people used to enjoy those teas, but there really wasn't. I haven't brought it back to the site for a while, and I haven't brought it back to the site for a while because there wasn't really a depth to it. It was just heavy charcoal roast, and it wasn't like it was bad, but it wasn't like I wasn't excited about it. I wasn't like, this is what I want. This is the tea that I'm really after. I didn't crave it like I do this tea. But this is by far the best charcoal roasted tea I've ever had. By far. And it is by no means everything about it is perfect. So there's one catch to this tea, because it's so heavily charcoal roasted. On the 4th steep, maybe the 5th steep, depends on how long you steep it, there is like a little bit of there's the fire that's still in it. There's a little bit of a catch in there. Maybe like a little bit of I don't know what's the right word. It's not really an astringent, but it's not, like the second steep is literally, you a creamy, you burn the outside of the marshmallow in the fire and you peel off the charcoal and you eat it. That's the second steep going into the third steep. And this tea will only get better with age. So I'm in no big hurry to release it, but the longer it waits, like if I just left it for another 6 months, then that little catch in the fourth and the fifth steep would be gone. It would just dissipate. But it's there right now. And so it's not perfect all the way through, but for a charcoal roasted tea, there is nothing that even comes close to this experience that I've ever had. Just because it's done the right way, right? It's just done the right way. Can't wait for the chrysanthemum charcoal electric and winter dong ding. Yeah, the winter dong ding, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. And it's not this expensive. It's also not, it's electric roasted, but this year's winter dong ding, I don't know why. I really don't know why. But this year it's amazing. I tried, my buddy sent me a sample of the unroasted tea, and I was like, oh crap, this year, I don't know. And then he sent me the finished tea, and I was just like, what is going on? And what that is just somebody who is 89 now with what's so like 60 plus years of experience roasting teas, right? 60 plus years roasting teas, and he just pulled it off. He did it. Anyways, this is Su San Pian. So SU and then SAN and then PIAN. And his name literally means the three, like the bud and two leaves. So San Pian. So, and Su, of course, is the last name of the Dongding Mountain. So if you are an authentic producer on the Dongding Mountain, you are part of the Su family. And like I said, the Su family at this point is really, really big. And some of them went evil, and some of them went good, and most of them are sort of in the middle somewhere. And Su San Pian went so far this way, like I said, just so far this way. And as I release his teas, I'll put his picture out there. But he's just a master maker of tea. Yeah, Su San Pian, that's it. Yep. He's a master maker. And when I say master maker, he's one of those people where I've talked about it before. I go see him at the tea shows, and this time I went to go see him in Taipei, and I literally went like he kept the fabric up around the thing so we could actually have a chat. And but before I went to go see him at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning at the tea show in Nantou. And people just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. I couldn't even talk to him that early in the morning because they want to ask him questions. They want to ask him advice. They want, like, he's just one of those guys who is so good at what he does. And they would tell me stories about, be like, well, don't people want to come and see you and learn from you? And he's like, yeah. But then they're like, 2 days in, they're like, I haven't slept for 2 days and I have to go see if my kids are okay. And I just tell them to leave. He's that type of guy, right? He's so extreme when it comes to creating his teas that he has, he's tried to teach people, right? He's tried to come in and he's tried to have like apprentices and things like that. And he just can't. And the reason he just can't is because he's so hardcore. He's so hardcore, right? When he's making the tea, he doesn't exist. It's just the tea. The only thing that matters is the tea. He doesn't exist. And when I say that, I truly mean that, right? Like, he doesn't exist. And to be able to do that, to be at the top of your craft is so hard. Like I remember I was there talking to him. It was later in the day. Opened up the curtain, and we were just shooting the shit. And there was this young guy who came, and then he he was a in his 20s, and he was serious. Like he was seriously trying to make a go of it. And you can see here, this is, I don't know, the fifth or the sixth steep, and you can see that sort of that beautiful color that's coming out in this right now. Anyways, it's a beautiful, beautiful tea. And I hope you were noticing as we went through just the different colors of the steeps as it went through. Like every steep is so different with all of his teas. Anyways, and this kid was sitting here, and I call him a kid. I guess I can call him a kid now. I'm in my mid-40s, and he was asking him all these questions. And what I was amazed at was this kid in his 20s, like he was multi-generational tea farmer, and he was trying to figure it out. He was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to be able to how am I going to be able to make tea? Right? How am I going to be able to make tea? And he was trying to figure it out. And it all came back down to, actually, we were drinking sort of, I think, this tea or the charcoal or the electric roasted tea. And he'd be like, wow, this is such an amazing tea. And it all came down to, but who am I going to sell this to? Who am I going to sell this to? And this kid, he was a serious kid, right? He knew tea, and and Sam Pian was trying to help him out as much as he possibly could. But there is this constant fight between big amounts of tea that you can make a big amount of money on, small amounts of tea that you can make a small amount of money on. And the amount of people that can actually make big amounts of money from small amounts of tea, the market is so small. It's so small. But you can pull it off when you do it. You can actually pull it off, right? When you figure it out, you can actually do it. And Sam Pian, he just wants me to go that way. He wants me to stop selling big amounts of tea and just sell little amounts of tea, like really, really good little amounts of tea, and just sort of live that lifestyle. And I sort of tell him, like, dude, I do that already. I do that already. But he's like, no, you got to go further. You got to go further. And, fair enough to him. What I'm going to do right now, actually, is I'm going to start looking. I'm going to start looking for a little spot where I can have a little spot where I can pour tea and sell tea to people and have it really aesthetically pleasing. And that's sort of the next step. And he's been pushing me in that direction, and I'm gonna allow myself to be pushed in that direction, I think. And I'm gonna sort of enjoy that lifestyle, enjoy that life, but move in that direction. But I think I am running out of steam. So, well, thank you. I am overwhelmingly grateful for the opportunities that I've had, and for the people who support Mountain Stream Teas and support these types of things. And so I think it's time to start moving sort of in that direction. There's two things I can do right now, right? So I've built up a reputation for doing good tea. I built up that reputation. And now there's two things I can do with it. I can burn it by selling really crappy, dirty tea, and burn it and make some money, and then lose everything, but have my little bit of money and destroy everything that I've worked for. Or I can go the other way, where I can be like, okay, let's keep going in this direction. Let's push it further. Let's only get the best of the best tea, and come on with me. Let's move here. And so that's sort of the fork in the road that I've got right now, because let's face it, I can't keep doing what I'm doing right now all by myself. I'm at my limit for what I can create all by myself, which I think is hilarious in many ways, because I'm probably going to have to get an employee or two, which is my biggest fear. My biggest fear. I've done it in the past. I don't like it. I don't like being a boss. But I think that's what we're going to have to do. And so we'll still, Mountain Stream Teas will still do its thing, and then we'll carve off a piece and we can go together on this road with teas sort of like this. And I think that's sort of probably the direction we'll go. And I will not be talking about vibrations and starting a religion, but we can talk about chachi and the feel of the tea and all of those different things, because I think that's part of it. But I solemnly swear I will not start a religion based off of based off of the teas that that I source, even though you could start a religion off of these teas, no problem. I actually stay away from people who start religions based off of teas. Sometimes people will be like, I want to buy your tea. I've started a religion. I'd be like, delete. And I laugh about it, but it's true. It's true. I do get. Anyways. Hey man, how's it going? Cheers to not starting a religion. I'll be free for room and board. Well, see, that's the thing. No, I can't do it. If I'm gonna expand it and do sort of what I have in mind, it's got to be transactional. It's got to be like, okay, here's how you do it. I'm responsible for you as an employee. A cult over tea? Have you? Sorry, I really got to turn that off. I mean, dude, if you want to get in a cult with tea, there's tons out there. There's tons. Just type into Google tea cult, and then and then filter for positive sentiment, and you're good to go, man. There are so many out there. There's a lot, and I will say no more. But I will not be a part of any of the tea cults. I've run away from the tea cults. So just as an aside, I talk about this sometimes, but there's a lot of people that will say, I mean, for the business partnership. Well, let me get my vision going first, and then we'll see how woo woo I get out there. I've talked about this before. I don't talk about it very often because it's so hard to put in digital form. But there is a way you can tell whether a tea is beyond organic, beyond clean, whether there is a tea for, what's the best way to describe it? A tea that is actually grown in the wild. And when you get a tea that's actually grown in the wild, you have this tea plant that's so stressed out, it sends its roots way down. And there's so much going on with this tea plant that there's so much stuff in the tea leaves that when you make a tea out of it, when that tea is suspended in the water, right? So little bits of tea is suspended in the water, you will have concentric rings in your cup. The outside will be dark, it will be lighter, then you get a darker ring, and then the center will be lighter again. And you will get this concentric sort of ring. So it'll be like outside of your teacup will be dark, then a little bit closer in will be lighter, then another concentric ring of dark, and then the center will be light again. And you cannot fake it. You cannot fake it. You cannot mistake it after you've seen it a couple times. And, you know, this tea has it in spades. And all the teas from Susa and Pian have it in spades. And once you've seen it, it's so unmistakable to be able to see it in the other teas. And it only happens in the teas that are, it's not so much organically grown, but no fertilizer, lots of bugs, grown into sort of a forest setting, all these different types of things. You see it so consistently. And it doesn't matter the color of the tea, right? It's not about the color of the tea or anything like that. It's literally how much stuff is in the tea, right? How much stuff do you have going on in the tea? That's what's going on in this stuff. And it's there. On a gradient because of the liqueur tea material. Yeah, because it's just got so much stuff in it. And you can't, the only way you can get that stuff in it is deep roots. And those roots touching a bunch of different things, right? So hopefully you guys all know that the plants talk to each other by now, right? And you guys have seen again, don't worry about that. That is not a gunshot. That is just a firework trying to scare away the birds. But never a dull moment. Another thing that's really hard to fake is brightness. And here you can see it today. Look at the brightness in that, in the liqueur. You can just see it's just so bright. Just poof. But you cannot fake it. You cannot fake it, right? Even after how many steeps that is. So this will be available at the same time as Winter Dong Ding and the Chrysanthemum. I do not know, but probably. I'm in no big rush to get new teas out the door because I'm still trying to make sure that I'm 100% before I get super busy again. Although, again, everybody, thank you so much. You know, it's still super busy. But yeah, there is the Ruby 18 Hybrid White. There is the Chrysanthemum. There is the Winter Dong Ding. And then there is all of the teas that I want to sort of release through the Discord server in a different part of the site. I don't know whether they'll all be released at the same time, but generally speaking, they usually are. Also, too, I bought a huge amount of tea to be that's going to be scented in the springtime in March, and so I might release. It's really good. It's really good, and so I might shave some of that off the huge amount of tea and sell some of that as well because it's such a good tea. It's a ginger, beautiful, milky. Oh, it's just an awesome tea. Really beautiful. In fact, after I drink this, I'm probably going to go downstairs and make a pot of that tea for lunch because it's on a day like today, it works really well. Thanks so much for the Ruby 18 sample. That stuff is fantastic. Oh, you triggered me. There was some pompous. Anyways, somebody wrote a bad review about it, and I'm super angry. But it is. It's okay. It's okay. I'm. I think I might start a discussion in the Discord about it. But I've got a bunch more of that, and that'll be probably back on the site in the next couple of days. That stuff is excellent, but it's not as good as last year. So it's not as good as last year because this wintertime, generally speaking, from September to November, wasn't the best growing season, and so it's not as good as last year. And some pompous fellow was like, "Not up to standard. It's not as good as it was in the past years. Not up to standard." I'm just like, dude. I was triggered. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to deal with it. Deepwater, is Deepwater ever coming back? I ask about it often. I highly doubt it'll ever come back in the same form, unless I figure out how to make it myself. And who knows, that may happen. But I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on it. But certainly not in the near term, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Which is sad. Which is sad. Because it's such a beautiful tea. But nothing to be done about it at this point. Here, these leaves, again, are just so gorgeous. You can just feel them, like the chi of these leaves. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Just they're soft but firm, and everything about them is just so beautiful. And they're just like thick, and when you look at them closely, I mean they look like old growth, like sort of Chinese old growth stuff. Anyways, I gotta go. I'm just about out of juice here. But I'm happy I could finally do a live stream. I feel like I have started to really find the years that I enjoy. Do you find yourself sticking to your favorites? Yes and no. I am spoiled for riches of tea. And so it all comes down to my body and what my body's craving. Like I said, my body's been craving this tea for a while. And I didn't really want to drink it when I had a stuffed up nose because I couldn't taste it. It's just a waste because it's such a beautiful tea. But I've been craving this tea for quite some time. And, but I will not be craving this tea when it gets hot again. So when the weather's hot, I'm not going to want this tea at all, right? I'm not going to want it at all. And so is it not going to be a favorite? Well, of course it's going to be a favorite. But because I have access to so many different teas, it's much more like a, what is my body after today? What is my body going for? Like, and so I can scan the room and be like, okay, and go for that. Also too, I'm, I'll complain about it, but I have to sample a lot of teas. And so when teas come in, I get a restock or something. I got to sample all the teas. And so being able to really drink a tea just for pleasure like this, pretty rare. It's pretty rare. But who knows? If I hire other people to do it, maybe that'll be more that'll be something that comes more often. Totally understand. Thank you so much for your afternoon. Feel great. I hope you feel better as well. I hope your concoction sounds like it worked, and I'm glad to hear it. I'm gonna go eat some hard-boiled eggs, and hard-boiled eggs and cashews for lunch. I'm gonna keep my svelteness that I've gotten my head start on, my very painful head start. But anyways, everybody out there, any questions about this, let me know. Just to recap, this is a beautiful tea. This is Susan Pian's Dongding charcoal. And this will be released to the Discord at some point in the next little while. and it's just an amazing tea, just an amazing tea. But yes, wherever you are in the world, I certainly hope you have an amazing morning, evening, night. Sleep well. Have a wonderful day for the rest of the day and a good day tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next live stream.